Tonight we're going to have another look at a shortwave radio. This is one I've just picked up, one that I've never had the opportunity to play with before. As you can see down here, it is the Uniden Communications Receiver CR2021. Now this particular receiver they're fairly basic, but not bad in the way of performance. Let's have a look at some of the features on it anyway. There we have the standard on-off switch. Beside it we have a light, which admittedly isn't much of a light. You probably won't see it here, and also serves as a battery check. You can see on the LED display there the state of the batteries. Here we've got a very interesting control. It actually tunes the both an external antenna and also the telescopic antenna, which I find that you can hear the difference there. I find them very, very handy. It's a shame that some of these controls aren't more common on shortwave radios. Here we have a 3-position attenuator, DX, normal and local, and here of course is your display. Over here we've got a 5-segment signal meter with battery, as I've mentioned previously, battery check. Now this you would expect to be a rotary tuning control, but it's actually not. As it says there, it's a single sideband CW fine tune, and that leads, I'll talk more about that shortly. Rotary tone control, rotary volume control, your mode switches here, FM, AM, your single sideband CW, and a normal and wide filter there. And here we are, actually, it's a single sideband signal on 40 meters. There we have 6 memory positions that you can set up if you wish. Direct tuning, basically punch a frequency in and hit execute. And you can also scan between an upper and lower frequency that you put into the memories. That step, it's an unusual button, this one. It steps between either, as you can see, a little 1 there, or it'll step to 3 kilohertz, which I find quite unusual, because most shortwave radios of this ilk will step between, say, 1 kilohertz and 5. Anyway, now this is probably the biggest bugbear of this radio. I much prefer a radio with a rotary tuning knob, but here on this particular radio we've only got up and down slewing. Yes, you can set a speed. So you can tune in 10 kilohertz jumps or 1 kilohertz jumps, or I suppose if you set that to do your 3 kilohertz, it'll tune slowly at 3 kilohertz steps, or probably 30 kilohertz steps. That's a bit of a pain actually, because as I said, it's so much easier to be able to just tune very quickly on a rotary tuning encoder. Yes, you can certainly input your frequencies, and that's fine. Nothing on that side of the radio, and on this side of the radio, pardon the camera shake, you have now this little button here. You can press that button and it will tell you the state of your computer batteries that are used for the microprocessor in this particular radio. A handy feature. There you've got DC input and extension speaker, and headphone socket there. Now this radio's had a slight modification which I might remove down the track, but there's your battery compartment there. Main battery takes 6 C cells. There's a compartment for your 2 AA microprocessor batteries, pardon me. And here's an external antenna and earth connections. And there, as I mentioned earlier, somebody's actually put that in as a modification to the radio at some stage of its life. Handy carry handle on the top, and a good and reasonably solid telescopic antenna. Now, I found the performance of this radio to be quite good. As you can hear, I'll just turn it up a little bit there. There's the QSO going on 40 metres. Well, I'm quite surprised at how stable the single sideband capabilities of this radio are. Now we'll just try to look through the screen here. Just turn that off for a sec. Just go to AM and we'll type in the usual frequency of ABC 4835, and there it is. ABC from Alice Springs in the Northern Territory of Australia. And as I said, you can peak that antenna. Let's have a look. So you just, that's around about it, I suppose. A little bit of cricket going on there. Audio is not too bad, but it's certainly a budget receiver. There's no doubt about that. Not all that easy to come by in Australia, I might add. Uniden communications receivers were never really that easy to come by, as mentioned, and but so I was quite pleased to get this one. So there we go. There's a quick review on the Uniden communications receiver CR2021. Hope you've enjoyed. Thanks again, and thanks for watching. Cheers.